All right. Starting with Abigail Poet Lariat. Sure. A 3-mana 2. So this is Silver Quill, obviously. White black. A 3-mana 2/3 flyer. Whenever you cast a creature spell, they become prepared. And their spell is put a +1/+1 counter on target creature, which triggers all of the Silver Quill stuff. So this is a great card, right? This is such a good engine. Because you just play a creature, she comes prepared, you put a +1/+1 counter on anything, and then all of your I played a thing that's targeted something trigger. And then all you have to do is play another creature, which you're going to be doing anyway in Limited because you want creatures. She's prepared again. She puts another +1, triggers all of your target creature with a spell. She's a really good engine for that deck. And she's flying, which is great. And she's decent stats. So, fantastic card. Abstract Paint Mage. 3-mana 2/2. At the beginning of your first main phase, add 1 blue, 1 red. Spend this mana only to cast instant sorcery spells. This very much depends how good the instants and sorts... Like, because again, most Limited decks are only going to be running 5 to 8 instants or sorcery spells. The majority of your deck is going to be creatures. So this is a 3-mana 2/2 that does nothing unless you have one of those instants or sorcery cards. And preferably an expensive one, right? So I'm not sure about this one specifically. Like, if you've got the instant or sorcery that makes this card good, then you probably run this. But I'm just kind of like, eh. Applied Geometry? Was that... Yeah. Applied Geometry. But 4-mana sorcery. Create a token that's a copy of target non-aura permanent, except it's a fractal creature in addition to its other types. Put 6 +1/+1 counters on it. So this is a 4-mana copy spell that turns whatever you copy into a 6/6. Bro, there's so many good green things to copy. Turn this into a 6/6. This into a 6/6. This into a 6/6. Because you can do creatures, right? Non-aura? Yeah. This can be a 6/6. Does it still get... So does it lose? Is it still get all the text, right? Copy of target non-aura, except it is in addition... Yeah. So it's whatever creature you want, but a 6/6 version for 4. You could do it on... Where the fuck is it? You could do it on this. This isn't an aura. You could have a 6/6 additive evolution that creates you another fractal that's got 3 counters on it. And then at the beginning of combat on your turn, you get 2 +1/+1 counters on something that gains... And it gains... What? For 4 mana? We sure about this? Are we sure this is the play? It is rare, I suppose. But god damn, yes. I mean, again, if your opponent removes whatever you target with this, your fucking soul is destroyed. But if they don't, this is great. Arc of Hunger. 4-mana artifact. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, this artifact does 1 damage to each opponent, you gain 1 life. And you can tap it, mill a card, you can play it this turn. Holy, this is good. This is really scary. Yeah, okay. So just take all the gold cards, right? Because this is an extra draw every turn. You tap this, you mill a card into your graveyard, but you can play it, and if you do play it, you just deal 1 damage and gain a life. Holy Jesus. This is fucking cracked. Aziza, Mage Tower Captain. A 2-mana 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, you may tap 3 untapped creatures. If you do, copy the spell. Choose new targets for the copy. Eh? Maybe? I mean, it's a 2-mana 2/2, and it just having it on the field means that if you cast something and you want to tap your creatures, you can. So I'd probably still run it. I'm just not really sure what we're copying, but sure, why not? Berta Wise what the I don't know how we're saying this. 4 mana for a 1/4 with increment. Again, another expensive increment card I'm not a fan of. Whenever one or more +1/+1 counters are put on it, add 1 mana of any color. Okay. And you can tap X, tap it, create a 0/0 green and blue fractal creature token, and put X +1/+1 counters on. I mean, it's still good, right? It's a 1/4 that's going to grow and pump out fractals. Sure. I don't think it's crazy. I mean, at 4 mana, we've seen most of the other colors making 4/4s. This is a 1/4, which doesn't do anything. Can't even block. But if you play, you know, a 2 mana spell, he gets a +1/+1 counter, pays you a mana back. Then a 3 mana spell, because you have 5 mana, he gets a +1/+1 counter, pays you back. He's already going to be a, what, 3/6? Yeah, he's already going to be a 3/6. I mean, if you've got ways to put other +1/+1 counters on him, he just generates free mana, and then he can just dump it all into fractals. Yeah? Not bad, he gets big quick. Again, I don't like the increment, but sure. Bleach Loafing Pest. A 3 mana 3/4. It's so just good stats. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on each pest, bat, insect, snake, and spider you control. Yes! These are the cards you need! Okay, so a lot of the power is in the gold card. I mean, there was a lot of really good life gain, life loss, life gainy stuff in the Witherbloom just green and black colors. This just puts it over the top, right? Witherbloom is looking absolutely like one of the best. I mean, I think green blue, green black are going to be 2 really good colors. I think white black is also very good. I think red white might be a bit weaker, and I think blue red might be suffering a little. Bogwater Lumeret. A 2 mana 2/2. Whenever this creature or another creature you control enters, gain a life. Fucking aces. Absolutely. This is a white effect in Wither. I'm fucking all about this. Yep. Card's great. Borrowed Knowledge. 4 mana, sorcery, choose 1. Discard your hand, draw cards equal to the number of cards in target opponent's hand. Then, or discard your hand, draw cards equal to the number of cards discarded this way. Sure, like in limited, less interesting because it's not a creature and doesn't affect the board. But if you're down to like 1 card because you've been going super aggro and your opponent has like 7, and then this is your last card and you just discard nothing, draw 7, your opponent's just going to fucking throw his hand out the window. So like, sure, this maybe is like the top end of your super aggro white-red deck, right? Cauldron of Essence. 3 mana, whenever a creature you control dies, each opponent loses 1 life and you gain a life. Oh, there's so much life gain stuff. So much drain. Witherbloom's just going to suck everyone dry. 3 mana, tap, sacrifice a creature, return target creature from your graveyard to the battlefield. Yes. Oh, God, Witherbloom's doing all of the good stuff this set. Witherbloom's terrifying. Color Storm Stallion. A 3 mana 3/3 with Ward 1 and Haste. Sure. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, it gets +1/+1. If 5 or more mana was spent, create a token that's a copy of this. Ooh. Okay. That's cool. Right? Because the token has that ability as well. So if you play a 5 mana, you get 2 of these. Then if you play another 5 mana, you get 4 of these. Play another 5 mana, you get 8 of these, and your opponent's fucking crying because they all have haste. I actually like this. Maybe I'd maybe play Prismari if I saw this, right? I'd be like, yeah, go on then, let's make a million fucking horses. It is absolutely removal bait, but it does have Ward 1, which at least makes it slightly more inconvenient. Colossus of the Blood Age. A 6 mana 6/6. Okay, cool. When this creature enters, deals 3 damage to each opponent, you gain 3 life. Love it. When this creature dies, discard any number of cards, then draw that many cards plus 1. This is just a good card. I like this. It's a huge guy. I mean, it's 6 mana 6/6 that heals you, and then if your opponent kills it, you can just get rid of all the crap in your hand and redraw a better one with an extra card. Yep. Fucking, how do you say that word? Conciliator's Duelist? Oh, that's right. A 4 mana 4/3. When it enters, draw a card. Each player loses 1 life. Okay. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature, yep, exile one target creature, return it to the battlefield under its own control at the beginning of the next ends. So your removal also bounces shit in your opponent's. Again, so you could flicker your own stuff if you want to, or just turbo remove everything on your opponent's side for free attacks. Right? Because it's exile, return it at the beginning of the next end step. So you just like kill a creature, bounce something else, kill a creature, bounce something else. I just removed 4 things with 2 spells. Swing. Right? Fucking Jesus. Or you can flicker your own shit if you want to. Sure. That's some of these cards. I mean, they're all rare, so you're only going to get like 1 or 2 of them, but they're sick. Cuboid Colony. 2 mana, flash, flying, trample, increment. Yes. Cheap. So this isn't crazy. It does have flash, so you can bring it at the end of your opponent's turn. It is a Flampler, which is really good. But it starts as a 2 mana 1/1. But then every time you play a spell that costs more, it's going to get bigger and bigger. Again, I like these cards that grow by themselves. I just like them. They are generally way better in Limited than anywhere else. And this is a flying trampler. So this is probably great. I was trying to think about it for a second, but no. This is a flying trampler that grows by itself. It's great. Dina's Guidance. 3 mana, search your library for a creature card, reveal it, put it into your hand or graveyard, then shuffle. Oh god, the reanimate players are all drooling. Sure. I mean, there's cheaper ways to do it in standard and stuff, but sure. I wouldn't play this in Limited myself. I would, again, just prefer to have the creature that I want to be looking for, but maybe it is just good. Elemental Mascot, a 3 mana 1/4 flying vigilance, and whenever you cast an instant sorcery spell, it gets +1/+0. 5 more mana, exile top card of your library, play the card until the end of your next. This is okay. It's not particularly strong, but it's a flyer, so it's going to peck in for 1 or 2 damage, and then it can be used to block as well because it's got vigilance. Sure. Don't hate it. It's just kind of fine. Embrace the Paradox. 5 mana, draw 3, put a land card from your hand onto the battlefield tapped instant speed. Brilliant card. This is what was the 2 mana version that was draw a card, put a land from your hand onto the battlefield for 2. Just turbo that, right? Sure. Again, I don't usually care for. I usually prefer to have a creature, but I think this is good enough. You can just play it on your end of your opponent's turn, have an extra land, draw 3. Yeah, this is probably just... The instant speed really makes it, right? Because it doesn't interrupt if you were playing other creatures on your turn, right? Essence Knit Scholar. A 3-mana 3/1. When this creature enters, create a pest. At the beginning of your end step, if a creature died under your control, draw a card. Fantastic again. Witherbloom is really... Witherbloom just has everything it wants in this set. Witherbloom is just gross. Fix what's broken. 4 mana as an additional cost to cast this spell, pay X life. Return each artifact and creature card with mana value X from your graveyard to the battlefield. How is this not Lorehold's thing? How is fucking Silverquill doing this? Yeah, this card is bonkers too. In limited, slightly less so, I think. But this is 4 mana, reanimate anything. You just have to pay health for it. Like, it's not like other cards that were like, oh, you can reanimate something that's, 3 or less for like a couple of mana. This is just 4 mana, reanimate anything, but you have to pay life for it. Which is probably fine. Okay, I don't know, okay. This is... I don't know, because if you've got a bunch of 3 costs, maybe you just do like, I pay 3, get like 3 or 4 3-cost things back, and your opponent's like, fuck, you've just got a board back out of nowhere. Like, maybe this is just good enough. Because it's each. It's hard to evaluate this one. Because you can either go for one giant bomb, one giant 8-mana game-winning card, if your opponent's removed it once, but it costs you 8. Or you can just pay like 3 and get like 3 or 4 3 costs back, right? Probably. I mean, still good. Either way, I think it's probably a good card. Slightly less good in limited, but still good. Fractal Mascot. 6 mana, 6/6 with trample. When it enters, tap target creature, put a stun counter on it. Good card. Great. Well, yeah, good limited card. 6 mana, 6/6 with trample. Absolutely. Go smash people. Fractal Tender. A 5 mana 3/3. We've forgotten how to be green again. With Ward 2. Okay. Increment. You're a 5 mana increment card. At this point, sure. At the beginning of each end step, if you put a counter on this creature, create a 0/0 green full-backed creature token and put 3 +1/+1 counters on it. I mean, sure, because, like, you play it for 5, you definitely have enough to play a 4-cost thing to give it a +1/+1 counter, and then a 5-cost thing to give it a +1/+1. But, like, you have to have those cards, and I guess you can have another Fractal Tender, which will trigger the first Fractal Tender, which would be hilarious. They're just... 5 mana is a lot. 5 mana for a 3/3 is a lot. I know it can grow, and I know I like the growing cards, but I like the cheap growing cards. Not this. Too expensive. Probably still good, right? In a slow game, this just gets out of hand probably at some point. Geometer's Arthropod. A 2 mana 1/4. Whenever you cast a spell with X in its mana cost, look at the top X cards of your library, put one of them into your hand and the rest of them from your library in a random order. Oh yeah. There's Civic players drooling over this. Like, how many X spells are you going to be able to play in a limited format? Probably like 2 or 3. But it's a 2 mana 1/4, so it's still fine. So if you have any X spells, just right, it's fine. Grapple with Death. 3 mana, destroy something, gain a life. It's sorcery speed, so it's a bit crappy, but love it. It's removal. You play it no matter what. Pretty much, as long as you're in green-black. Growth Curve. 2 mana, sorcery. Put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control, then double the number of +1 counters on that creature. Terrifying. And also probably good. Fucking put a +1/+1 counter on you. You become a 4/4. Double it. You become a... Actually, that's not that much. But you do it on like the fractal, right? The fractal becomes a 4/4. Double it becomes an 8/8. Then I guess it's a token, so it's much easier to deal with. 80, as long as assuming they have like bounce or removal. I don't know. Still good. Hardened Academic. Okay. 2 mana for a 2/1 flying haste. Discard a card, it gains lifelink. Sure. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature. This is great again. Cheap, early, aggressive creature. You can give it lifelink by putting stuff into your graveyard that you can use for fuel to give +1/+1 count. Yeah, these are great. There are so many good cards in these. Imperious Inkmaid. A 3 mana 3/3 with vigilance when it enters Surveil 2. I mean, this is still good because it's a 3 mana 3/3. It's just not as exciting as like everything else we've seen. But I'd still run this. This is a 3 mana 3/3 with vigilance, right? Inkling Mascot is a 2 mana 2/2. Whenever you cast an instant or spell that targets a creature, it gains flying until end of turn. Surveil 1. Drop. 2/2 that you can give flying to. Good beater. Again, works really well with like buff spells because you can just buff this and it gains flying and you surveil. Yep, like it. Hillian's Confidence. 2 mana, target creature gets +1/+1 till end of turn, draw a card. Again, these are really good, like little hand-trippy things. Whenever one or more creatures you control deal combat damage to a player, you may pay 1 of whatever the colors you're in. If you do, return this card from your graveyard to your hand. Man, Silverquill having cards that on creatures they can keep replaying, or cards that just keep coming back, or like flashback and stuff, it's going to be so hard to grind them out of resources. And everything's going to do like, going to cause like 5 triggers. Silverquill and Witherbloom are scary. I like wherever the fractal people are as well. God damn. Keyroll History Buff. 2 mana 2/3. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, he becomes prepared. And then for 3, mill a card, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature, it gains trample. So he just keeps putting stuff in your graveyard, makes your shit bigger because of it. I feel like Lorehold has a good little loop of mill stuff, get it back, or play it from your graveyard, or exile it, or do something to get rid of it, and get payout. Yeah. God damn. And this card's really good as well. I think all of the gold cards are going to be... there's just going to be a lot of me saying, God damn, these cards are good. Leerwin Exchange Student. 4 mana for a 3/4. They enter prepared, and you can exile a creature card from your graveyard to prepare her, but only as a sorcerer. And then you can pay 1, make a pest. Sure. I think Witherbloom's going to want as many pests as it can get, and this being a recurring way to just make more pests, because you just want to trigger all of your gain life stuff, right? So this is the way you want to make sure you always have pests to gain more life. Lorehold Charm. 2 mana for an instant, choose 1. Each opponent sacrifices a non-token artifact. Return an artifact or creature card with mana value 2 or less. Creatures you control get +1/+1 and gain trample. Is this like a new cycle of charms? Like we had the Boros charm and all that? Because if so, I'm fucking all about it. Those charms, I mean, maybe not as powerful as like Boros charm and the other ones, but like, or Rakdos charm or whatever the other ones were. But like, I like the charms. This one seems... yeah. The sacrifice a non-token artifact is like, who gives a fuck? But the other 2 are decent. Because the return an artifact or creature with mana value 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield triggers all of your it left the battlefield effects. And your creature's getting bigger. I mean, Lorehold definitely seems like the aggro color. This could just be go over the top, right? Like Baby Overrun. 2 mana, which is bananas. There he is, Lorehold. How are you doing, big boy? Still scary? Obviously, by the way, these dragons are all going to be fucking bananas, right? So, a 5 mana, 5/5 flying haste. Each instant and sorcery spell in your hand has Miracle. Why? Why are we just telling people Miracle shit? At the beginning of each opponent's upkeep, you may discard a card if you do draw a card, which would be the first card you draw that turn, which means it has Miracle too, and you could just play. Fucking hell. Okay. So, like, Lawhold, you probably, if you play him turn 5, he's immediately flying haste, smacks your opponent in the face. And then the next turn, you draw your first card, play it for 2, well, whatever it is, assuming it's not a land, play it for 2, and then do whatever, leave 2 mana up on your opponent's turn, discard a card, draw a card, play it for 2. Because Miracle breaks timing restriction. So you could just play whatever the fuck you want on your opponent's upkeep. Holy Jesus. Yeah, you gotta kill this thing immediately. I mean, like I said, they're all gonna be cracked. But yeah, weirdly, if you see Lawhold, you're probably playing Lawhold. Mind into matter. Okay? Green, blue, and X. Draw X cards, then you may put a permanent card with mana value X or less from your hand onto the battlefield tapped. This sorcery speed, though. 4 mana, draw 2, play a 2 mana card. I mean, technically, it doesn't say non-land, so this could be 4 mana, draw 2, put a land onto the battlefield tapped. This isn't. I don't think this is as good as the instant speed 5 mana draw, because this is essential. I mean, it can be better. It can be 5 mana sorcery speed, draw 3, play a creature for 3 or less from your hand onto the battlefield. But like the other one is 5 mana instant speed, draw 3, play a land, which this probably is sometimes, but it's sorcery speed. I like the other one better than this. I don't know. But yeah, I like the other card better than this. Mind Roots. 3 mana sorcery. Target player discards 2 card. Put up to 1 land card discard this way onto the battlefield tapped under your control. Sure. I don't think this is very good. I don't know if I'd run this, but it is a way to be just rude. Right? You can just be rude to someone. Be like, hey, you discard 2. And they go, all right, I discard 2 lands. And you go, cool, thanks. Just be rude. But it doesn't affect the board. And it's just rude. I don't think it's good. Molten Note. 2 mana and X. Molten Note deals damage to target creature equal to the amount of mana spent to cast this spell. Okay. So, even if you only pay 1 for X, it's still 3, because it's all mana, not just X. Untap all creatures you control, and you can flashback it for 8, which deals 8 damage to target creature and untaps all creatures. Yes, this card is bananas good. It is sorcery. I mean, yeah, but there's a couple of cards that want you to tap creatures in Lawhold to do stuff, right? So you could, there's the captain lady. So you could, she's on cast, right? Wait. You can't loop that shit, right? There's no way. When you cast, okay, yeah, you can't. Because you're not casting the copy, right? I have to go back and read her again. But you're not casting the copy's just happening, right? Copy the spell, choose your target for the copy. Yeah. So you can't loop it. But you could, you know, tap 3. You could pay this, tap 3 to copy it to deal more damage again, and then untap all your creatures. Like, there's certain Lorehold stuff that wants you to tap creatures to do effects, and this just lets you untap them all. I like that card. I like that a lot. Moment of Reckoning. A 7 mana Silver Quill spell. Choose up to 4. You may choose the same mode more than once. Destroy target non-land permanent. Return target non-land permanent card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Holy Jesus. I mean, yeah, this has got to be good, right? This is like, destroy 4 things, destroy 3 things, return your best thing, destroy 2 things, return your 2 best things, destroy your opponent's scary thing, return your 3 best, or just return your 4 best things to your battlefield. Jesus, okay. Yep, that's a fucking scary card. It is 7, so, but again, I think this apart from Lorehold, which is going to fucking slaughter people in like 6 turns, I reckon this is probably going to be a slower set. Like, Witherbloom wants to grind you out by gaining life and draining you. I guess Silverquill wants to kind of just like target their own things, get big and beat the shit out of you. Lorehold wants to target their own stuff from the graveyard and their own things, get big and beat the shit out of you. The Fractal guys are going to be slow, Witherbloom's going to be slow, and the red-blue are going to be slow because they need to get to like 5 mana spells before they're doing anything really exciting. Still. Good card. Nita Forum Consolator. 3 mana for a 2/3. Whenever you cast a spell you don't own, put a +1/+1 counter on each creature you control. Tap 2, sacrifice another creature, exile target instant or sorcery card from an opponent's graveyard. You may cast it this turn. Mana of any type any mana of any type can be spent to cast it. If the spell be put to graveyard, exile it, activate it. This is actually decent, right? Because if you have this out, you're essentially immune to removal. Because if your opponent's like, I target this creature, anything apart from this guy, obviously. But if they're like, I target your creature, you just sacrifice it and get a piece of removal from their graveyard or something. Or you can sacrifice Inklings if you're making Inklings and just bop grab one of their pieces of removal and get rid of their big thing. Right, like this is probably just really good. Assuming you can steal cheap shit from them, right? Like, again, it depends on how many instants or sorceries, but it looks like a lot of the decks, there's a lot of instance and sorcery interaction stuff in Prismari, in Silverquill, even in Lorehold, there's like a decent amount of instance and sorcery stuff, right? Maybe not as much. Maybe Lorehold is just the straight standard beat people up thing, but. Yeah. Old Growth Educator. A 4 mana 4/4 with Vigilance and Reach. Nice. When this creature enters, put 2 +1/+1 counters on it if you gain life. So if you attack with a pest, this is a 4 mana 6/6 Vigilance Reach. Yep. Sweet. I'm all about it. Witherbloom is absolutely the colours I'm going this time. I'm going to try and draft it as much as possible. Paradox Surveyor is a 3 mana 3/3 with Reach. When this creature attacks, look at the top 5 cards of your library. You may reveal a land or a card with X in its mana value from among them. Put it into your hand. Put the rest on the bottom of your library in any order. Okay, this is probably just like land guarantee kind of stuff. As a 3 mana 3/3, he can probably attack for at least a turn. Get you a land. Sure. Oh, it's when he enters. Sorry, not when he attacks. Fucking, where did I read attack from? When he enters. Yeah, this is a 3 mana 3/3 with Reach that gets you a land, probably. Or an X spell if you have enough of them, but I don't know how many X spells you're actually going to have. Hopefully you have at least 2 or 3, right? But Pest Mascot. A 3-mana 2/3 with Trample. Whenever you gain life, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. Yes. I do love the self-growers. This thing has Trample, which means you can't just put a 1/1 in front of it. Your pests gain you life whenever they attack. It gains life separately, right? Where's the nearest pest? Whenever this token attacks, you gain 1 life. So if you attack with like 4 tokens, this just becomes a 6/7. Because it triggers for each life gain separately. Yep. Witherbloom be doing gross thing. Practiced Scrollsmith. A 3-mana 3/2 with First Strike. When it enters, exile target non-creature, non-land card from your graveyard. Till the end of your next turn, you may cast it. 3-mana 3/2 with First Strike. It triggers all of your when a card leaves the graveyard effects, and it lets you recast probably a piece of removal. Sure. That sounds great. I'm going to have to disappear again quickly because I do need to go to the bathroom. Probably just the last time. We'll probably just finish off multicolored artifacts and lands, but I really need to go. So, 1 second. Be right back. We will finish the rest of the gold cards, which are pretty much all fucking cracked. And then we'll do artifacts, lands, and be done. See you guys in a second. Oh, it is a 2/13. Oh, that looked really weird. The guy crouching down facing... You have an Entei? I'm gonna shut my fucking mouth. Okay, this could hurt. Psychic on the Nidorino. Carablast? Can you just, like, Dragon Claw the Entei, I guess? Like, that should kill that easy. Yes. Okay, the Entei is charging. That's scary. Oh my fucking god! Dragon Pulse the Giratina? Ominous Wind the Giratina? We need to change what we're going against, I think. Giratina's really... I'm back. We're fine. We're fine. We're fine. I'm here. Don't worry. Yeah, we already did the practice Scrollsmith, so let's carry on. Hey, there is a Cycle of Charms. Okay, Prismari Charm. 2 mana, Surveil 2, draw a card, deal 1 damage to 2 creatures, return target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. I like this. Yeah, okay. Again, I'm excited that the charms are here. I do like another charm cycle. You probably just surveil and draw with this every time. But the bounce is good as well if you're in trouble. And maybe you can just deal, 1 damage to 2 targets? To, like, pick off some pests so Witherbloom doesn't get too overwhelming with its life gain. So I think all of those are, like, reasonable. Again, red-blue players will just pick Surveil Draw every time. Unless they're actively dying, and then they'll pick the last one. But at least all of these do something. The last one, the Lorehold Charm having Destroy an Artifact was just kind of like, whatever, I guess. But Prismari the Inspiration. Hello, how you doing? 7 mana, 7/7 flyer with ward, pay 5 life. Oof. Instant and sorcery spells. Me. You cast have Storm. You can't give red-blue players Storm. That's not allowed. Yeah, that is Mari. Mari is a very large dragon. You can't give red-blue players Storm. I mean, again, in Limited, it's a 7/7 flyer. You're just playing this card. And I don't know how many instant or sorcery spells you're going to have left by the time you get to 7 mana. But you can't give red-blue players Storm. They're irresponsible. The last time we had reasonable Storm, red-blue players were playing 19 cantrips into Gut Shot, get fucked, right? Like, they were playing all of the 0 mana artifacts that sacrifice to generate a mana, and then they were playing 19 1-mana fucking scry draw a card cantrips, and then they were gut shotting you for 20. Right? Like, you cannot... No. You can't give red-blue players Storm. They're irresponsible. They're children. They will just do something stupid with it. Yeah, 7. Well, so you say 7 mana, though. I guarantee you, somewhere in some dark hole is a standard red-blue player cooking up a red-blue-black deck that's only... like, it's blue draw, it's red, whatever the burst draw off the top is, and then it's black reanimate Prismari, and then it's, like, shock. Right? And all they do is they, like, cheap reanimate Prismari. If you don't kill it, they play, like, 4 blue cantrips or whatever. Or, like, there'll be ways of generating extra. They'll play a bunch of, like, copy spells to copy. They'll get 1,000,000 treasure. And then they'll just fucking shock you, like, 7 times in the face. And you'll be like, oh, I'm just dead from 14. Okay. Like, there's someone trying to figure out a way somewhere in some dark hole to get Prismari out on, like, turn 3 with as many fucking treasure generators or something as humanly possible, so he can just storm the fuck off and bolt you for 30. Because gut Shot was limited, because it was 1 damage. You had to play a fuck ton of spells before it for Gut Shot. But, like, if you can just get, like, 5 Storm procs on a shock, right? Or a play with fire or whatever is in rotation at the moment. You're just 10 to the dome. Can you kill my Prismari? If you do, I'm just bringing it back next turn. Right? Like, it's me. Oh no, you can't give red-blue players Storm. Again, I don't know if this isn't as good in Limited as Lorehold. Because Lorehold in Limited is you play a card every single turn for 2 because you miracle it and Miracle breaks timing restriction. So Lorehold is bananas. And Prismari's not that good because, like you say, 7 mana to get it down. It is a 7/7 with flying at that point, which is already terrifying as itself. But then it makes sure instant and sorcery spells have Storm. But again, how many spells do you have in hand by the time you get to your 7 mana Elder Dragon? Unless you've been playing super conservative, probably not very many. There's probably only like 1 or 2 cards in hand. So unless it's like 1 card into a big draw spell that you can Storm to get 2 of, right? Like, Prismari's probably not doing anything insane in Limited. But I guarantee you in Standard there's some fucking methed out red-blue crackhead looking for a way to get Prismari down as quickly as possible with as many treasures so he could just fucking play with fire someone 13 times on turn 4 or something nuts. Oh, you can't give blue-red players Storm. Right, Protector's Gaze. Return up to 1 target non-land permanent to its owner's hand. Bounce. Search your library for a basic land, put it on the battlefield, tap, then shuffle. Worst bounce spell I've ever seen. Very expensive, but it is bounce with ramp. And ramp is very good for whatever these people are called. I can't remember what the fractal people are called. The Math Squad. Mana's very good for the Math Squad for their X spells. I'd probably run this if I was in their colours. Yeah, I'd run this. Professor Delian Fell. Witherbloom gets a Planeswalker? Ah, Witherbloom's got too many good things. This is unreasonable. 4 mana for a 5 loyalty Planeswalker who gets +2. He's going to be 7 loyalty on turn 4? What do you mean? There's no way you can kill that on turn 4. What? That's bananas. Okay. So you can gain 3 life. Like, the gain 3 life isn't that exciting, but you are Witherbloom, so you want to gain life. 0. Oh my god, because you play this on turn 4, you +2 him to go to 7. If your opponent doesn't kill him, you immediately emblem? Nah. This is unreasonable. No way. You can't have this in limited. No. This is unreasonable. Like, that's not fast enough for your opponent to have a way to deal with this. That's too fast for your opponent to have a way to... No. This is not okay in limit. Because, like, you play a 1-mana 1/1, a 2-mana 2/2, a 3-mana 3/3. And then even if your opponent plays this on turn 4, your turn 4, that's 6 damage. You don't even kill it. You set it to 1, which is great, but you can't even kill this if you attack with everything you have on that turn. I guess, to be fair, you can maybe play some pump spells and do it, but, like, that's unreasonable for a limited. Just play red, yeah. Or white. White has a 1-mana of exile a planeswalker. That is unreasonable. But yeah, +2 gain 3 life, 0 draw a card and lose 1 life, which is essentially draw a card because Witherbloom is gaining 1,000,000 life. -3 destroy target creature, which is also fucking gross because if your opponent only has 1 creature, it protects itself. And then -6 get an emblem, which cannot be interacted with. Whenever you gain life, target opponent loses that much life, which is just winning even harder for Witherbloom. This is stupid. If I see this command, if I saw this Planeswalker, I would be on my opponent's side of the field. I would be upset that they got the best card in the set. Right? I'd be mad. I'd be like, oh, you got the best card they printed in the set? Oh, fucking congratulations, asshole. Like, oh my god, this is... I mean, there's the black 2-mana, sacrifice your most expensive planeswalker or creature. That deals with this. There's the white exile a creature or planeswalker. Red has 3 damage for 1 mana to a creature or planeswalker. Like, there is ways to deal with it. I am kind of maybe blowing it out of proportion. But, like, bro, that's so good. Oh my god. Because, yeah, like, if you play this on turn 4, it comes down with 5 loyalty. You +2 it goes to 7. If your opponent can't hit it, you just -6. You get an emblem. Whenever you gain life, they lose that much life. And it's still around. It doesn't die. It's still there because it was on 7. Nah, this needs to have, like, 6 loyalty. It needs to have, like, 4 loyalty. 4 mana, destroy something, you have to... Yeah, this needs, like, 3 or 4 loyalty. If this had 3 or 4 loyalty, I think I'd be okay with it. Right? If this was, like... You play it for 4 mana, you can destroy a creature, but it either kills him or sets him to 1 loyalty, I think I'd be more okay with it. But this guy is... like a 5-mana planeswalker for 4 that has a +2, so he goes to 7. There's no way you're removing that. Even if you -3 and destroy a creature, right? Like, the only way this is bad is if you have 3 creatures. Like, if you have 3 creatures, your opponent has none, he plays this and then has to destroy your biggest creature, right? And you still have 2 attackers and you can kill it. But, like, nobody's playing into that board. And like I said, if you've played a 1/1, a 2/2, and a 3/3, they play this, they just gain 2 life, gain 3 life, because he's at 7. Even if you swing with all of these, he technically doesn't die, so you still have to burn removal on it. Right? Like, nah. This is too good. Jesus. Okay. What is this? Petrifact. It's a pterodactyl. I was reading the P, but I don't need to. I know how to say pterodactyl. I'm not stupid. Okay, I'm a little bit stupid. Terrafractal is a X2 flyer that gets X +1/+1 counters on it, and when it enters, you gain 2. So it is a 3 mana 2/1 flyer that gains you 2. At worst. Sure, I don't hate it. Yeah, I don't hate that. That's fine. Pursue the Past. 2 mana for a sorcery. Gain 2, discard a card. If you do, draw 2. Good card. Yeah. This is what Lorehold wants to be doing, right? And you can flashback it. Yep. Quandrix. That's the blue-green people. The Quandrix Charm. 2 mana. Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2. I would probably actually destroy target enchantment. There's more enchantment removal. Target creature has base power and toughness 5/5 until end of turn. This one I'm less up on because, I mean, its best mode is probably the first one, right? Counter target spell unless its controller pays 2 and it costs 2. That's its best mode. Destroy target enchantment. Your target creature has base power and toughness 5/5. That's either you're killing someone or you're fucking up their creature that they attacked you with because they thought your stuff was small. And like, I don't think it's as good as the last as the Prismari one, but it's fine. I think you just use this as like a counter spell with variations, right? It's just a good counter if your opponent taps out. Versatile counter spell, enjoy the options. Yeah. I think it just because it's a versatile counter spell, you like it. Because we've seen 2 or 3 counter spells. One of them was Essence Scatter, which is just creatures. One of them was 4 mana, but 2 if it's not a creature. And the other one was 3 mana, and if you have a wizard, you get mana back. This is the only, like, cheap, easy way to just be like, nah, I'm not feeling that. And it's versatile, like you say, so yeah. Quandrix, the Proof. Here he is, a 6 mana 6/6 flying trampler with Cascade. And instant and sorcery spells you cast from hand have Cascade. No, we can't be giving Simic players Cascade. So if red, blue, wait, so red, white is Miracle. Blue, red is Storm. Blue, green is Cascade. What is black, green, and white, black? Is white, black like Extort or something horrific? All instant and sorcery spells have Extort for 1 or something? Fuck off, that would be disgusting. What would black green get as like an extra thing for all of their instants and sorcery spells? I don't know, we'll have to look. Cascade, huh? Well, if you're playing fucking Quandrix, sure. Everything has Cascade. I mean, he has Cascade himself. So he's a 6/6 flying trampler that plays the next non-land card that costs 6 or less from your deck without paying its mana cost. And then all of your instant sorcery spells have Cascade. And a lot of them are like X spells. The thing is, you don't want to hit X spells with Cascade because then you don't pay for them. But you can always put it into your hand. I don't remember what happens with if you do choose not to play the card. Either way, gross. Rapturous Moment is this is insane. Yeah. I mean, Cascade is terrifying. Staple to a 6/6 flying trampler and giving it to all of your instants and sorceries is certainly a horrifying choice. 6 mana, draw 3 cards, discard 2, add 5. But then the 5 mana lets you do storm stuff. I mean, maybe. And so remember the little goblin guy? The little goblin guy, whenever you play a 5 cost or more, you get mana equal to his power. And his power goes to 6. So if he's on the field, you play this. It's pay 6, get 8 mana back, draw 3 cards, discard 2. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Maybe Prismari is doing things this set. Yeah, I mean, it's 6 mana. 6 mana is very expensive, but, like, maybe you can get it for... There's stuff that makes instants and sorceries cheaper. A lot of the Prismari stuff wants to be playing big instants and sorceries, right? So maybe you're just playing this for that anyway. It is only, like, draw a extra card, but it does generate so much extra mana. I don't know. This seems okay. Render Speechless. 4 mana, target opponent reveals their hand, choose an online card from it, and they discard it, put 2+1/+1 counters on a creature. Sure, this is a discard card, like a way of interrupting what's in your opponent's hand, and you get all the triggers from targeting a creature, so this isn't... I'm usually not high on these creatures, but this actually does something to the board, and it triggers all of your Silver Quill target a creature with a spell stuff, so sure. Resonating Loot. 4 mana for an artifact. Lands you control have tap. Add 2 mana of any one color only to cast instants or sorcery spells. Draw a card. Activate only if you have 7 or more cards in hand. Well, this gets you there. Holy shit, this gets you there. Right? You play this on turn 4. Next turn, you play a land and have 10 mana for instants and sorcery spells. This fucking gets you there. Jesus. I mean, it probably just gets blasted. Well, there's not that much artifact. Oh, no, there was certainly some artifact removal. I don't know if this is good or terrible. I feel like if you play this on turn 4... as your entire turn 4, you probably just get beaten to death. But then your turn 5 can be 2 5-cost spells, which could blow up the entire... Like, you could recover. If you have the instants or sorcery spells, you can certainly recover. So, I want to say this is bad, but I don't think it is. I think it's just... like, playing it on turn 4 feels bad, but then there is a chance you recover because of it. So I don't know. Root Manipulation. 5 mana. Until end of turn, creatures you control get +2/+2, gain menace, and whenever it attacks, you gain a life. Yep, love it. You'd only run one of these. This is your overrun for the set, for Witherbloom. But there's also the green elf that has whenever you gain life, all your creatures get +1/+0 and gain trample, which means this is all creatures get +2/+2, menace, and +1/+0. So +3/+2 and menace and trample if you have that creature on the field, which is crazy good. So I think you'd run one of these. Sanar Unfinished Genius. A 2 mana 0/4. Okay, and he enters prepared. And his spell is search your library for an instant or sorcery, reveal it, and put it into your hand for 5. And then you can tap him to create a treasure token. Not really in limited. Good treasure generator, I guess, but not really doing anything for me in limited, at least. 0/4 for 2 that doesn't do any, like... sits there and can't attack and maybe makes you a treasure or two before turn 5 and then you can go get an instant or sorcery, which you can't even play because you spent 5 mana. Nah, I'm alright, thanks. Golding Administrator. 2 mana, 2/2 with Menace. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. When this creature dies, if it had counters on it, put those counters on a different creature. Good card, love it. Comes down early, is annoying to block, gets some damage in, grows every time you cast one of your spells, pretty much, because you're always going to be going for stuff that targets your own things, or stuff that removes your enemy things. Absolutely what we want to do. Silver Quill Charm. 2 mana, put 2 +1/+1 counters on target creature, exile target creature with power 2 or less, each opponent loses 3 life and you gain 3 life. Best one so far. By like a wide amount. Best one so far. This does not have a bad... Like, the worst setting of this is your opponent loses 3 and you gain 3. That's the worst one. This is by far the best. By far the best charm. Massive and way and above everything else. This is the best charm. So far. Absolutely. Silver Quill the Disputant. A 4 mana, 4/4 flying vigilance. Each instant and sorcery spell you cast has casualty 1. What's casualty? As you cast that spell, you may sacrifice a creature with power 1 or greater. When you do, copy the spell, choose new targets for the copy. Holy, that's gross. Yeah. Okay. All of the Elder Dragons are fucking disgusting. Yep, sure. I don't know if I've ever played with Casualty before, if it is a returning mechanic. It must be because it's not in the rest of the set. But yeah, that's fucking gross. Sure. Absolutely disgusting. As expected. Also, this comes down on turn 4 as a 4/4 flying vigilance. Your opponent has to remove it immediately, or you're just going to clear their board, buff yours to insane levels. Even if you have to sacrifice a bunch of stuff, you're just going to go crazy. Yeah, this is insane. Snooping Page. A 3 mana 2/3 whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell that targets a creature. This can't be blocked this turn. And whenever it deals combat damage to a player, draw a card, lose a life. Yep. Good carrier for buff spells. It also plays well with like your flicker stuff. Not flickering this, but flickering something else. Yep. Very good. Silver Quill's very scary as well. Social Snub. 3 mana for the sorcery. When you cast this spell while you control a creature, you may copy this spell. When you cast the spell while you control a creature, you can copy it. Sure. Each player sacrifices a creature of their choice. Each opponent loses 1 life and you gain 1. Okay, so this is either your opponent sacks 1, loses 1, and you gain 1, or if you have a creature, you both sack 2, and they lose 2 and you gain 2. Sure. You're not targeting a creature, so it doesn't trigger all your other things. I mean, it's removal. You probably still take it, but, like, not as good as some of the other removals, I think. Spectacular Sky Whale is a 3 mana 1/4 flyer. Whenever you cast instant or sorcery spell, it becomes a 4/4 flyer until end of turn. Scary. If 5 or more mana was spent to cast it, put 3 +1/+1 count. Ooh. Okay, so it's a bit expensive as a 4 mana 1/4, but it is a flyer, and it can get out of hand very quickly if you have the mana to make those big spells happen. Because, like, one spell, this is a 4/7, right? Second spell, this is a 7/10, right? Like... Okay. Like, as long as you have big spells, this is a good card. Spirit Mascot, a 2-mana 2/2. Whenever one or more cards leave your graveyard, put a +1/+1 counter on this creature. It grows by itself. We like it. Splatter Techno. I think this is actually really good. This is cheap. It grows by itself. It's doing it. All it wants to do is for Lorehold to do exactly what. Like, this is a good card. Splatter Technique. 5 mana for a sorcery. Choose one. Draw 4 cards or deal 4 damage to each creature in Planeswalk. Wow. Okay. Yep. This is another really good card. This is red-blue board wipe for 5. Or draw 4 cards for 5. This is the thing, like, if you're playing a, like, grindy game and there's not many creatures on the board, or you're not scared of the creatures on the board, this doesn't sit in your hand as nothing, right? You just draw 4 cards out of it. Yeah, this is a good card. There's so many good gold cards. This set looks cracked. Stadium Title Mage. 4 mana for a 4/4. When this creature enters or attacks, you may draw a card if you guard a card. I mean, it's a 4 mana 4/4. It's good on stats. Loot isn't bad. I don't hate this card. Like, it's not the most exciting card in the set, but it's just a good card, I think. Startled Relic Sloth. 4 mana 4/4. Again, yep. Trample Lifelink. At the beginning of combat on your turn, exile 1 target card from a graveyard. Triggers all of your Lorehold stuff. And it's a 4 mana 4/4 with Trample and Lifelink. Good card. Like it. Yep. Stirring Onomancer? Okay. Stirring Onomancer. Yeah. I did say that right. I wasn't sure for a second. 5 mana 4/5. When it enters, look at the top X cards of your library, where X is the number of creatures you control. One of those cards into your hand and the rest into your graveyard. Wouldn't Lorehold like this more? I mean, it's a 5 mana 4/5, but this is going to be like, look at the top 5 or 6 cards of your library, get 1, the rest go into your graveyard. I guess that's fine, right? Unless you mill something crazy, but then you could have just put it into your hand. Yeah, this is probably good. I don't like the idea of milling quite that many cards. Stress Dream. 5 mana, deal 5 damage to 1 target creature. Look at the top 2 cards of your library. Put one of those into your hand and the others on the bottom of your library. 5 mana for 5 damage is very expensive. Even if... I guess it's... So, it's kind of got... almost semi-expressive, right? Expressive was top 3. Put 1 into your hand, exile, put 1 on the bottom of your library or whatever. This is deal 5, put 1 into your hand, put 1 on the bottom. Like, not as good, but... no, I don't like it. I think 5 mana for 5 damage is kind of a lot. But it does trigger all your 5 or more stuff, so maybe it's good. We can copy it. Okay. Suspend Aggression. 3 mana, exile target non-land permanent and the top card of your library. For each of those cards, its owners may play it until the end of their next turn. Okay, so this is just instant speed. No, I don't want to deal with that, and I get an extra card. This is good. They can replay it, but that slows them down for a turn if it's going to be a problem. Tam, Observant Sequencer. Oh, this does have landfall. 4 mana for a 4/3 landfall. Whenever a land enters, it becomes prepared. And its spell is draw a card, gain a life. That's pretty good. Yeah, I'd like that. I'd be okay with that being my recurring spell every turn. Yep. Like, play this. If it doesn't die, next turn, play a land, tap 2, draw a card, gain a life. 3 mana up. Do whatever, turn after. Play a land, tap 2, draw a card, gain life. Unless you're getting absolutely beaten to death and you need the mana, this is great. Teacher's Pest. is a 2-mana 1/1 with Menace. Whenever it attacks, gain a life, and return a card from the graveyard to the battlefield tapped. Yep, love it. This is fantastic. Because this can block, and you have that thing that makes them lose life whenever a creature with 1 or power or toughness dies. This is great. Absolutely great. Traumatic Critique. Red, blue, and X deals X damage to any target. Draw 2 cards, then discard a card. Yeah. You're essentially playing 2 mana to draw 2, discard a card. Sure. That's one of the better removal pieces, actually, in red, blue. Violent Outburst. Was that sorcery, right? No, that was instant. Yeah, that's good. 2 mana, deal 3 damage to any target, tap 1 target creature. This is also really good removal for Prismari. Okay, they've got some good instant speed stuff, actually. Vicious Rivalry. 4 mana, as an additional cost to cast this spell, pay X life. Destroy all artifacts and creatures with mana value X or less. There's another board wipe. And a really good one, because you're paying like... This is like another commander card, right? This is a bananas commander card. This is... I mean, it costs 1 more, but it also hits artifacts. So this is... Toxic Deluge. I don't know if it's slightly better or slightly worse Toxic Deluge, but it's Toxic Deluge. But with artifacts as well, and it's mana value instead of -X, -X. Sure. That's a good card. Again, if you're in my 30-30, yeah. Well, that's the thing. If you're in control of the board wipe in Limited, you're always favored. So I would take this in Limited. And yeah, I think this is just a really good card as well. This might replace Toxic Deluge. It probably doesn't replace it. It probably goes with Toxic Deluge into every green-black deck, right, in Commander, but sure. Visionary's Dance. A 5-mana sorcery. Create 2 3/3 blue and red elemental creature token with flying. You can discard it, look, the top 2 cards, put one of them in your hand and the other into your graveyard. Tell me this isn't the super expensive Prismari spell. This is ass. 7 mana for 2 3/3s. They do have flying. Maybe not ass. Just not as appealing as, like, Magma Opus, which was just bonkers. I suppose this with Cascade is terrifying as well, if you have Prismari himself out. And if you copy this, it just gets better. Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe this is good. It's a lot of mana for, like, 2 dudes. Wilt in the Heat. 4 mana, the spell costs 2 less to cast if 1 or more cards left your graveyard. Deals 5 damage to target creature. If it would die this turn, exile it instead. Okay. Yeah, this is fantastic removal. Again, 4 mana for 5 damage is a bit much. But if you're doing the Lawhold thing, this is 2 mana for 5 damage and it exile. Which is crazy good. Witherbloom Charm. 2 mana. You may sacrifice a permanent if you do draw 2 cards. Great. You gain 5 life. Great. Destroy target non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less. Great. All 3. So this, Witherbloom and Silverquill, the best charms by a mile. Then I would say it's probably Prismari and Quandrix. And then the Lawhold one is probably the worst, I think. But this is, you're happy with the top one. If your opponent targets something, no thanks, I'll have 2 cards. Gaining you life in Witherbloom, that's the worst option there. And it is going to trigger all of your life gain effects. And destroy target non-land permanent with mana value 2 or less is probably the best one there. Probably the one you use most often. That is really good. Witherbloom himself, holy shit. 8 mana, but he's got affinity for creatures. He's a 5/5 flying death toucher. Instant and sorcery spells you cast have affinity for creatures. Holy Jesus. Yeah. I want to play a Witherbloom the Balancer commander deck. I want to make a Witherbloom commander deck that's just all of the green and black stuff that makes tokens. Everything. And then the entire idea is Witherbloom comes down for like 2 mana on like turn 4. And then you just, every spell costs 1 less. Like, I don't know how many good token makers there are. There's got to be a bunch, right? Like, any spell that makes 2 tokens for, like, 3 or less mana is just crazy in a deck like that. I think this is my favorite card. I think this is my favorite card in the entire set. Probably not even the best dragon in the set, but it's my favorite card in the set. I want to make this a commander deck. Yeah, I want to make a commander deck out of this. I very rarely see a card and go, I want to do. We're gonna make a standard deck out of this, maybe. Can we make a standard deck out of this? Probably not. It's too expensive, right? And it doesn't do anything, and it just gets blown up or countered. I don't care. I want to do it anyway. I want to play all of the token makers, all of the cheap things and token makers, and then just this guy, and then giant X spells that just screw people over. I want to do it. I don't know if there's any good green and black X spells that make tokens, though. God, I like that card. Sorry, I'm just lost in my own mind of, like, I want to do stuff with this card. Green has a lot of changeling if commander. Well, the thing is, so the way I think you'd want it to work, right, is you have like cheap mana generators like Llanowar Elf, because the creature pays for this affinity and also you can tap it, which pays for another mana, right? Like Llanowar Elf, stuff like that, all these cheap things, and then a bunch of like cheap cards like stuff that makes, 2/1/1 pests or 3/1/1 pests or changeling tokens. Okay, yeah. But just stuff that makes like multiple things. The problem is the only big card I know is green-white. Zombies, exactly. Because like there's again, this is from Dragon Maze and this is years ago. Selesnya had a green and white X spell that was 1 green, 1 white, and X. It was instant speed. You could pay for it by tapping creatures, and it made X 1/1 human creature tokens with lifelink or whatever, right? Can't remember what the spell was called, but it was like, you have like a bunch of creatures, and at the end of your opponent's turns, you tap all your creatures, tap all your mana. X is 15, I make 15 1/1s or something stupid, right? And I always liked that as a spell and an idea. Witherbloom just makes that go crazy, right? Same idea, but with affinity, right? So you play Witherbloom for cheap, and then if all of your creatures make mana, you tap them all, they reduce the spell's cost already by simply existing, and you play some giant mono, like black 1 in X, and make like 30 zombies. And then the following turn, you just pay whatever it takes, and then like Torment of Hailfire. But Torment of Hailfire automatically casts for like 30 because of all the zombies, and then whatever else you pumped into it and whatever creatures are left after the other turn. Like, you could Torment of Hailfire a board for like 55 or something on like after 2 turns after Witherbloom with like no mana or something. That's, again, magical Christmas land. That doesn't happen. But like, there has to be some X spells in black or green, but that just make like a million dudes. And that's all I want for this commander. Now to open this card, yeah. Honestly, I'd probably... if I was gonna make it, I don't know how much. How much is Witherbloom on Star City currently going for? Let me check. Star City is a singles place. I'd probably just buy it in singles, but Witherbloom, the Balancer. How much is he currently going for? Probably a decent chunk, right? $30. So I'd probably just buy him for $30 and then build a commander deck around him. But again, I'm not very good at building commander decks. I usually just build, like, I do play commander. I play it with my family occasionally. My husband, his mom, and his dad. We all play it together, but we tend to just play, like, precons. I have made a deck I made one deck for his dad, who's a big Spider-Man fan. So I tried to make him a Spider-Man deck from the Amazing Spider-Man. So the Peter Parker to Amazing Spider-Man, on the Amazing Spider-Man's cards side, it says like all legendary spells cost 3 mana if you bounce a creature back to your hand, a tapped creature. So the whole deck is like, I 95% precons, so have fun. Yeah. Try my first hand at custom now. Yeah, that's the thing. I don't really play enough commander. And I don't really care about the meta or making a powerful deck. I want to make something synergistic and goofy. So, like, for the Spider-Man deck, again, Kevin, you probably won't know, but there's some really old cards called the Margin. They're like Margin of Life's Web, Margin of Cleansing Fire, Margin of something. They're like really old cards, and they're like 10 mana for these cards that come in with indestructible counters, and you can take the indestructible counter off, and it does something bananas. Like, the white one is a board wipe. The green one puts all creature cards from your hand into play. The blue one draws cards for however many permanents you have on the field, right? And I've got them in this Spider-Man deck because if he bounces like a cheap creature, he can play it for 3 instead of the 10, and then keep the indestructibility counter on it. Also, hello sorry, what was the name? Subatomic? My bad. Sorry, give me a second. I'll extend the thing. Subatomic Surfer, thank you very much for the follow. How are you doing? Hope you're having a good day. But yeah, they come in for 3 mana if he bounces any cheap creature. And then he can attack with them because they've got an indestructibility counter. And then he can remove the indestructibility counter to do their huge, giant, whatever the bomb-ass move is. Whatever they want to do. And then you can just pay 3 mana, bounce it back to your hand, play something else. Because you've still got the Amazing Spider-Man on the field. And it's a tapped creature now. Right? So, like, the deck is not good. The deck is not good. But there is occasionally the time where on turn 3 or 4, he plays the Margin of Life's Web or whatever, and then removes the indestructibility counter, plays his entire hand of like 10 cost bomb creatures, and we all go, anyone got a board wipe? No board wipe? Concede. Right? It's hilarious. And that's the first deck I've ever really made for Commander, and it makes me very happy that it does occasionally do that. Might be quiet because I'm working on a project to do with card games. I thought I'd come because someone who only plays. I love hearing talk about card games. We're doing Magic, so we're not doing Yu-Gi-Oh or Pokemon, but I always love talking to people, and card games I love. So, well, Magic I love. Other card games are just not Magic, which is unfortunate for them. But yeah, I would very much like to try and make a Witherbloom deck. Maybe I'll wait and see if he becomes cheaper after the set comes out. But I'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I love this card. This card makes me happy in all of the good places. Zaffy and the Tempests. I do know about Magic. I've definitely seen Magic cards quite often, and my close friend was talking about one of his decks earlier. Ah, good. What was your friend playing? Do you have any idea? Anyway, Zaffy and the Tempests. A 7-mana 5/7. Once during each of your turns, you may cast an instant or sorcery spell from your hand without paying its mana cost. Something to do with Saheeli Radiant Creator. Geez, I don't know. There's been so many versions of Saheeli. I don't know which one that is, but it probably has something to do with artifacts. And it's red-blue in some way, because that's what Saheeli is. This card is terrifying, right? If your opponent is playing Prasmari, so red-blue, and your opponent plays this, you have to remove... Again, it's 7 mana, so this isn't coming down until later. But this is a free instant or sorcery spell. This is terrifying in Prismari. Still. Right, like... I don't know. No, yeah, it's terrifying, because imagine you play this, and then you play the one that... Yeah, this is terrifying. Yep. No, terrifying. You have to kill this on sight. That is our last... So, okay, that's our last multicolored. I'm not going to go back through all the multicolored cards. I'm just going to say... At the beginning of combat on your turn, you may pay 3 something. I assume there's energy counters. Create a token that's a copy of target permanent you control, except it's a 5/5 artifact creature in addition to its other types, gains haste, and you sacrifice it at the beginning of the next end. Yes. Is there an energy counter, Saheeli? Probably. I don't really play with energy stuff. Again, this is... So, what sets Saheeli from? She's from the... God, it was a bunch of artifacts and shit. My brain has died. But... Aetherflux Conduit, Aethertide Whale, and Duplicate. Okay. Duplicant. Aetherflux Conduit is a very obvious artifact thing. Aethertide Whale is an energy counter spender? I'm not sure off the top of my head. But yeah, we'll go. Basically, what he said the plan was. I was gonna say, let me look up Aethertide Whale while you're typing. Plays the whale and gets 6 energy. Yeah, there's an energy. It's an energy generator. Oh, well, you can... Every time you use Sealy to make a copy of it for 3, gets another 6. Yeah, it generates and spends. So, does both. It is also a 6/4 flyer. So, you know, it's not necessarily that bad. And it's flying with haste, 6 attack. Yeah. I mean, again, it very much depends. I don't make commander decks very much. I was just talking about Witherbloom because I want to make a commander deck. This is my favorite card in the set. I probably could have guessed that before seeing him, but this is my favorite card in the set. So all of the gold cards here are... This is another set where your gold cards dictate what cards you are playing. So, whatever you get the most or the best gold cards in, you are playing that school. You can splash for other schools, but if you get like 3 Witherbloom gold cards, you'll probably play 3 or 4 Witherbloom, like good Witherbloom gold cards, and nothing else, no other gold cards, you're just going to be playing Witherbloom. Right? Or if you get like... So, whatever you have the better like gold cards in, that's what you're playing. Which I like. I like the gold cards being where a lot of the power comes from. But yeah, there are some cracked... Obviously, all the Elder Dragons are cracked. Obviously. I think Witherbloom Witherbloom's my favorite. I think so. I think Silverquill's probably the best school. Witherbloom is also very up there, but I think that might be me being biased because I like what Witherbloom's doing. But I think Witherbloom is slower than Silverquill, so I think Silverquill just kind of kills people. But I think Silverquill's probably the best. Witherbloom. I like what Quandrix is doing, but I think Quandrix is very slow and does have cards that just don't really do anything. So maybe next is Lorehold, and then Quandrix, and then Prismari, because I don't really care about Prismari. The red blue I'm not really giving a shit about, and also it relies a lot on you having very specific instants or sorceries, which you might not have. Quandrix Quandrix is doing my thing. It's making big guys and putting +1/+1 counters on them, but it does seem to be the slower of the ones doing stuff like that. Lorehold is very fast and aggressive and doing a lot of, and it has a lot of good, like, a lot of ways to trigger itself. But they don't have as powerful... Well, maybe. I think the problem with Quandrix is some of its interactions are counterintuitive, right? Because it has ways to exile cards from its graveyard permanently, but then ways to replay cards from its graveyard, which is what it really wants to do. But the ways, like, it does... So it wants to be getting rid of a card every turn, but it doesn't necessarily want to exile them. It wants to replay them. But if it doesn't have the option, it's going to have to exile them, which means when they do have the option to replay them later, they're going to feel bad about the ones they exiled. It kind of fights with itself a little bit. So I'll have to see how it plays. I don't think it's bad, but there's a little bit of like... Witherbloom, if you're playing the life gain stuff, I feel like is so good. But it is slower because you have to be, like... It's going to take some time to make your pests. And then it's going to take... You're going to have to be attacking with the pests, which means they're not going to be around very long. And, like... There isn't a way to consistently make the pests. Wait, I think Dina does. Dina consistently make the pests? Not Dina, the other one. Where's her name? Yeah, this one can, but you have to exile creature cards from your graveyard. And she only makes one. So, like, there is one way to make consistent pests, but it's slow and it costs you a card from your graveyard every turn, which means you will eventually run out. But I like Witherbloom the most. And then probably Silverquill just has so much good stuff, they probably just win. But it doesn't... Yeah, I'm not as excited about Silverquill, but I think Silverquill just has the most good things. So, sure. Moving on to Artifacts. So we'll just quickly run through Artifacts, lands, and then we're done. So let's quickly burn through this. Biblioplex Tonekeeper, a 4-mana 3/4 when it enters. Choose one, target creature becomes prepared, or target creature becomes unprepared. Cool. Very good with certain prepared things. Probably not being used unless you have a card that you desperately want to re-prepare and you can't do it any other way. Diary of Dreams, 2 mana for an artifact. Whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, put a page counter. Tap 5, tap it, draw a card, cost 1 less to activate for each page counter. Sure, this is probably good if you're playing a lot of instants of sorceries. Prismari probably likes this. Lorehold, because they can also sacrifice it if they want to with the guy that copies stuff. That's also in Prismari as well, to be fair. I'm not particularly sold on this, but it's probably good. Mage Tower Referee. 2 mana, 2/1. Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, put a +1/+1 counter on itself. Actually, not bad. If you've got a lot of gold cards, this is great. The question is how many gold cards you do. You have. And again, it's just one of those growers, and I'm biased towards things that just grow themselves because it feels good to play them. So maybe not as good as I think, but if you've got a bunch of gold cards, not a bad card. Comes down turn 2 and then just grows constantly as long as you're playing gold cards or multicolored cards. Sure. Page Loose Leaf. A 2 mana 0/2 that can tap to add colorless. Discard another card named Page Loose Leaf. Reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal an instant sorcery card. Put it into your hand. The rest from the bottom of your library in a random order. Whatever. Sure. I wouldn't run this, but maybe you do. But, like, you need the extra mana ramp, maybe. I don't know, for Prismari, for playing big spells. But then there's better stuff in Prismari for that, so... Potionous Trove. 3 mana, add 1 of any color. Gain 2 life. Activate only if you've cast an instant sorcery spell. I wouldn't run this, but sure, maybe. StrixHaven Sky Coach. A 3 mana 3/2 flyer. When enter, search all over for basic land. Put it into your hand, shuffle. Throw 2. I mean, crewing a flyer is nice. This isn't terrible, but I'm not a big fan of vehicles, so... Oh, we're on lands. Wow, that was there's like five artifacts. Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, sorry. Alright, sure. None of them seem particularly exciting either. The best one is probably the book, Diary of Dreams. And it's not that exciting either. Alright, what lands have we got? Deathcap Glade. Enters tap unless you control 2 or more lands. Sure. Same for Simic. So they have the Surveil lands, but you don't have to sack, which is nice, and they enter tapped. Great Hall of the Biblioplex. So adds colorless, pay 1 life, add 1 mana of any color. Spend this mana only cast instant sorcery. Sure. If 5 mana, if this land isn't a creature, it becomes a 2/4 wizard creature with whenever you cast an instant or sorcery spell, creature gets +1/+0 until end of turn. It's still a land. Okay, so it's like a fighting land. Sure, this is probably fine. Yeah, I'd run this, I guess. I don't know how excited I'd be about it, but sure. Veil lands. What's this? Petrified Hamlet. When this land enters, choose a land card name. Activated abilities of sources with the chosen name can't be activated unless they're banner abilities. Lands with the chosen name have tap 1, add colorless. It can add so you could turn off like the Biblioplex or turn off a land that can attack or something. Sure. Okay, don't hate it. It's a way to deal with other people's annoying lands. Yeah, that's the Silver Quill duel. Sky Coach Waypoint. Tap or tap 3 and tap type creature becomes prepared. I would actually run this. If I had like a decent prepared creature or creature that I could do, its prepared spell's really good, but it can only prepare once, I would run this. Because you do have some turns where you're not doing anything. So, end of your opponent's turn, tap 3, prepare my creature so I can play its spell. Probably just fine. I would run this. Another Swale land, another dual land, Terramorphic, Swale land, and the pretty... So what do these pretty dual lands look like? That's what? Silver Quill, that's Prismari, Witherbloom, Lorehold, Quandrix. I do like them. Will I buy these? I like the Witherbloom one. It looks sick. And the Lorehold one. Guys look like he's rocking out with fire over him. I generally like the big lands that have like a big symbol on it like this, so Maybe I'll buy these. We'll see. And then just the basic lands. All right. That's it. We're done. We're finished. Thank you very much to everyone who came in. Subatomic, thank you. Kevin, Mari, thank you for dropping in and saying hey with everyone and raiding me. Everyone else who came in, raiders, I hope you had a good time. Hope you enjoyed. We will be drafting Secrets of StrixHaven for at least 1 week, maybe 2 or 3, depending on how I feel. But we will 100% be drafting this set. I only have 20,000 gems because I haven't been doing my due diligence and playing my Magic. So I might have to start playing Magic every day to try and earn up some more gems so we can have 30 more gold, so we can have 30k's worth of gold. But we do have, by the time we've done some drafts, probably 60,000 gems. So maybe we just do some gem drafts for a bit, right? But yeah, thank you to everyone for coming and hanging out. I hope you enjoyed this as much as I did. And hopefully, I will see everybody later. Tomorrow we'll be doing Poker Rogue, because we always do. So that'll be good fun. Sunday will be my day off, because it always is. And then next week, Monday will be Mythic Monday for World of Warcraft. Tuesday will be Pokemon Too Many Types 2 again. Thursday, I'm not sure. I'll have to think up something for Thursday. Friday, drafting StrixHaven maybe. And then Saturday, Poker Rogue, probably again, because I will probably still not have finished it. Finished a run. So, yeah. Until then, thank you very much. I hope you all have a great weekend. I will either see you all tomorrow or I will see you all next week.